This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org. I'm Amy Goodman. We end today's show from the Arctic Sunrise. That's the name of a Greenpeace ship sailing across the Mediterranean Sea with the Global Sumud Flotilla. The flotilla includes more than 70 vessels and thousands of participants from all over the world who are sailing to Gaza in an attempt to break the Israeli siege and deliver humanitarian aid to Palestinians. The Arctic Sunrise is accompanying and providing technical support to the flotilla in a show of solidarity for part of the trip. This flotilla builds on previous voyages to break the Israeli blockade. In 2025, the flotilla sailed with 42 boats. 2 days ago, in what the Global Sumud Flotilla calls an unprecedented act of civilian intervention at sea, at least a dozen vessels from the flotilla encircled one of the largest cargo ships in the world, the MSC Maya, that they believe was delivering raw materials for weapons to Israel. The MSC Maya is operated by Mediterranean Shipping Company, MSC. In a press release, the Global Sumud Flotilla said the disruption, which reportedly lasted less than 3 hours, was inspired by and builds on the precedent of dock workers who've, quote, been on the front lines of resisting unjust supply chains, using their collective power to halt the movement of goods tied to oppression and war, unquote. We go now to the Mediterranean Sea, where we're joined by 2 guests. Pujarini Sen is the project lead on board the Arctic Sunrise for the Greenpeace project supporting the Global Sumud Flotilla. And Saif Abukeshek is a member of the Palestinian Global Sumud Flotilla Steering Committee. You're both sitting next to each other. Describe the scene on the ship, and most significantly on this Earth Day, why a Greenpeace ship is joining the Sumud Flotilla. Saif, let's begin with you.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you for having us. It's an honor for me to be joining from Greenpeace. They have provided technical support for our boats that made it possible for us to continue this journey. So I think you're giving struggles a space where they can work together, and understanding the impact that happens on environment, on people in different locations, goes into the same line of confronting those powers that try to confiscate resources and oppress people. So I don't think that there is an exclusivity in the work that we do, rather than it's important wherever we can intersect, wherever we can meet each other halfway, we should do that to make sure that those struggles are supporting each other. I'm sure my colleague can give more insight about having us here on Earth Day.
Absolutely. Thank you, Saif. For Greenpeace, it is an honor, and we're absolutely humbled to be able to support the Global Sumud Flotilla on this mission. Greenpeace has a long history of creative, nonviolent action, and we have a long history of action on the water as well, from the Arctic to the Mediterranean. This flotilla is sailing to try and open a maritime corridor where governments have failed, and we hope that the support that we are providing will help them to succeed in doing that.
Can you talk about this disruption of a cargo ship en route to Ashdod and Haifa ports? Tell us what happened when you intercepted the MSC Maya.
Yes, I mean, this route of the Mediterranean, we talk about the genocide and we talk about the siege on Gaza. It's very important to address how this genocide and how the siege being enabled. When countries like Spain decides to vote on an embargo, military embargo, to prevent this kind of ships to go through the Mediterranean, and they try to find other ports when they don't declare the content of what they have on the cargo, and they just sail to maintain and enable the Israeli government by providing them with the needed materials to continue committing genocide and maintain the illegal siege on Gaza. people need to react. Governments are allowing this to happen when they don't take action. When yesterday the European Union voted to maintain the association agreement with Israel, which violates all the principles and values the European Union has, and still they voted to maintain it and not to stop that association agreement. So this, we were discussing always that when the system fails, civil society needs to step in. And I heard an inspiring speech today from Fabian, one of the directors of Greenpeace, who said it's not actually that the system is failing. The system is designed to do what it's doing right now, to maintain oppression, to maintain the confiscation of resources, and to oppress people. And therefore, we have to confront this. We have to confront these roots. This is the first civilian action that challenge of a flotilla, that challenge this route, that challenge, as you said, one of the biggest cargo ships in the world. And we approached the cargo ship because we are with sailing boats. Legally, it is lawful for us to sail in the Mediterranean, and any cargo ship need to change the route. What is very interesting, looking at the map, that this cargo ship changed its route in our direction instead of going in the other direction against the space where we were. We tried to communicate. We tried to show signs, to explain for them that participating in delivering this material to Israel is part of complicity. We cannot just wait on symbolic statements right now, on people saying that we condemn or we don't support or we are in favor or concrete ones. And many people come to ask about flotilla being a symbolic action. So many years we have of historical, non-violent, direct action. It is very strange when we start to define non-violent direct action with symbolism. The Salt March of Mahatma Gandhi, the hunger strikes of prisoners, the thousands and hundreds of thousands of people who marched around the street, the 3 years of strike in Palestine in 1936, and there is a long, long history. Those all are non-violent direct action. The flotilla is just one action more within this process.
Pujarini Sen, we just have about 30 seconds, but Greenpeace typically targets fossil fuels and corporations. Why did you join this flotilla?
Greenpeace does target fossil fuel companies, but like I said, we also have a long history of nonviolent direct action. Having said that, fossil fuel companies also benefit from wars, from genocide. For example, Greenpeace in Norway has taken the fossil fuel giant Equinor to court because of their ties with the Delek Group, which is an Israeli company that enables the genocide. So we don't view these issues as separate. They're very interrelated, and we've also worked in Spain, for example, and in Canada to push for an arms embargo. So for us, these issues are interconnected and need to be addressed together, and that's why we are supporting the Global Sumud Flotilla now.
Pujarini Sen, I want to thank you for being with us, project lead for Greenpeace on board the Arctic Sunrise. Pujarini and Saif are joining us from the Mediterranean Sea on board a ship. Saif Abukeshek is a Palestinian activist and member of the steering committee of the Global Sumud Flotilla. And that does it for today's show. I'll be traveling to cities where the new documentary about Democracy Now! Called Steal the Story, Please is opening theatrically. Tonight I'll be at the Roxy in San Francisco and at the Rialto Elmwood in Berkeley. Then we head to Seattle Thursday and Friday for 7 p.m. screenings at the SIF Uptown Cinema. I'll be with the co-director of the film, Carl Deal. Then on Saturday to Portland, Oregon for 2 screenings at the Cinema 21. On Sunday, I'll be back at the IFC Center in New York, Sunday evening, and then to Toronto, to Boston, to Washington, to Baltimore, and beyond. I'm Amy Goodman. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching Democracy Now! On YouTube. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to make sure you never miss a video. And for more of our audience-supported journalism, go to democracynow.org, where you can download our news app, sign up for our newsletter, subscribe to the daily podcast, and so much more.